This is video 1-1. Our essential question out of this lesson would be, how do people problem solve in real life? Our second question would be, how can strategies learned for problem solving, for solving a math problem apply to real life situations? Our learning targets for this lesson: I can recognize and use characteristics and strategies of good problem solvers. Our Common Core Essential Standards are MP1 and MP5, and you can refer to your handout as to what those actually represent. The key terms for this particular lesson: guess and check, make a table, chart, graph, make a picture, work backwards, solve a simpler problem, find a pattern, and look for extraneous information. All of these are problem-solving strategies. Let's look at an example of a real-life word problem and see how we can apply a strategy, a problem-solving strategy, to come up with our answer. Sally and her family are going to the movies. Her parents, 3 brothers, and she are going to see Night at the Museum 2. Adult tickets are $8.75 and child tickets are $6.50 unless it is a matinee. And that's when all tickets are only $5 each. They are going Friday to the 7 p.m. show. Her dad has $45 with him. Question is, will that be enough for the whole family? Why or why not? Now you'll want to refer back to this example as we go on to the problem-solving strategy. There are many different types of problem-solving strategies. Some that you've seen before are PISA, and then maybe using the SOLVE methods or the 4-step plan. The one I'm going to introduce to you today is called Q-tips. Yes, like regular Q-tips. Okay? We set it up like a coordinate plane, and we actually use the quadrants, quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, to help us solving our problems. We start with quadrant 1, and we look at Q from Q-tips, and that is the question. And what we've done here is we've rewritten the question into terms that we can understand. For example, the question is, does Dad have enough money for the family to go to the movie? Then we move into quadrant 2, and this is our TI from TIPS, and it stands for terms and information. So let's look at what we have in the problem as far as terms and information that's given. We know that the family consists of Sally, 3 brothers, and her parents. It's a total of 6 people. Those 6 people break down to 4 children and 2 adults. We know that each adult is $8.75 for a ticket, and each child is $6.50 for a ticket. We also know that if the family chooses to go to the matinee, it will only cost them $5 each. We know that they are not going to the matinee. They're actually going to the 7 p.m. show, which definitely is not a matinee. And Dad has $45 with him to help pay for the family to go to the movies. Moving down into quadrant 3, we look at P, again from Q-tips. And we look here at the plan or the process. What are we going to do to solve this problem? Here are the things that I've written down. We're going to look to see if there's any extra information in the problem, what we don't need. We're going to total up our children's tickets, total up our adult tickets. We're going to find the total amount of money it's going to cost for all families to go. And then we're going to subtract that total from Dad's $45. That brings us to quadrant 4, looking at our solution. We said we were going to look for any extra information from the problem. Well, if we look back here at the information we've been given, the thing we do not need, since we know what time they're going, we don't need the $5 matinee fee. That's not going to help us solve this problem. Okay? So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to look at the total children tickets. We know there are 4 children, We know that each child's ticket is going to cost us $6.50. And when we multiply those together, we get $26. Then we move on to the adult tickets. We know that there are 2 adults, and we know that it costs them $8.75 a piece. That gives us the product of $17.50. Our next step is to total up the family's tickets. Here are their prices. We're going to add them up. It's going to cost the family $43.50 to go to the movies. Now we think back to the original example and we ask the question, does Dad have enough money? And the answer we would come up with is yes, he does have enough money. Why do we know that? Because Dad starts with $45. It only costs the family $43.50. So if we did the math and subtracted Dad's amount and the cost of the tickets, we would see that he's actually going to have $1.50 left over. Not quite enough for snacks or a drink, but he does have enough money to go see the movie.